Hello, hello, hello. My gosh, guys. Welcome to the return of That's No Moon, which is a new thing for pretty much every single one of you. Actually, no, it is a new thing for every single one of you. We're going to be talking Star Wars. For anyone who didn't know, even though I said it a bazillion times in the Discord, guys. Come on. Come on, get your acts together. This is my man Jordan here, sitting here. Jordan.
What's up?
God damn it, Jordan.
Sith my pants here.
Sith, that's it, exactly. Yeah, Sith my pants in the chat, for anyone who doesn't know. This is my man Jordan here. He's going to be joining me. And we are going to be fucking talking Star Wars.
You bet.
We are going to talk Star Wars.
Everything Star Wars. Today in Star Wars, everything.
Everything. So,
Anything you could possibly think of.
think of something. We're talking about it. So, I'm going to turn down Deploy the Garrison. We've already been deployed. We're out.
I don't know. It's a banger, so
It is a banger.
I'd be fine if it went the whole stream.
Yeah. Go check out this guy, by the way, if you never have. Isaac2187. I got to make sure I plug him because I feel bad that I'm stealing his great songs. So, a couple of interesting things today. Revenge of the Sith turns 15 today. She's going to be getting her learner's permit. That's very exciting. Getting her out on the road. Revenge of the Sith. Empire Strikes Back turns 40 on the 21st of May, which is also exciting.
Yep.
I'm right now in this moment more excited about Revenge of the Sith, and we're gonna talk about Revenge of the Sith and everything like that. And then also the Phantom Menace turned 21 today. Their 20th was last year, so I guess they can drink in the United States. That's exciting.
That's what gets my hyperdrive going.
That's it.
Yeah. The Phantom Menace, man.
Oh my god. And then we're also gonna touch on some casting rumors with The Mandalorian. Oh no. There's a poor connection with Jordan.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I think somebody bypassed the compressor and didn't tell me.
Revenge of the Sith. We're talking about Revenge of the Sith. We're talking about some casting rumors for The Mandalorian, and as well, Mark Hamill officially becoming one with the Force, and he will no longer return to the role of Luke Skywalker. But I have a feeling that that's not going to be his last appearance in Star Wars. So we'll get to that. But
I think Nick knows something. I think he's got inside sources.
Yeah, I do. Got inside. Kathy Kennedy's my my aunt. All right, so let's talk Revenge of the Sith. Jordan, when did you see Revenge of the Sith for the very first time?
I don't know if it was opening day or what, but that was my first Star Wars movie that I ever saw in theaters. We would have been
8.
We were 8 years old. I probably would have been 7.
You were 7.
I was born in December. I was 7. So that was my first time. That was my first movie in theaters. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, unreal experience because you're in the big screen and it's Star Wars, so you can't get much better than that.
Definitely. Yeah, same thing. I mean, I know mine definitely wasn't the first day because I remember. What's funny is I remember seeing it I remember it was an afternoon because I remember coming out of the theater, super bright day, and I'll never forget talking about the movie and thinking and saying to my brother, it was like, wow, I can't believe Palpatine was the Emperor.
Right? Such a
blew my mind, and then that was when I came. He informed me that it was very obvious, and he's like, "Dude, it was so obvious. How could you not tell?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? How it wasn't obvious? What do you mean?" And he's like, "Dude, there's nobody else who has that big of a nose. It's the schnoz. That huge schnoz gives it away."
Yeah, and also that dark voice too.
Mostly the schnoz.
Mostly the schnoz. That's definitely a Sith schnoz. But still a bit of a twist at the end, I would say, for us 8-year-olds.
For 8-year-olds, yeah, definitely a big twist. Yeah, and the reason I wanted to talk about, I mean, we could talk about The Empire Strikes Back, we could talk about The Phantom Menace, but I think right now the Clone Wars
that's what everyone
has impacted Revenge of the Sith in such a huge way. If you're not familiar, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars, I highly suggest even just watching the final arc. with Ahsoka and Rex and Darth Maul on Mandalore, because absolutely just brings Revenge of the Sith specifically into another level. The Clone Wars, we could redeem the entirety of the prequels, but let's be honest, like Revenge of the Sith has just gone up in quality. Like, do you think that,
for sure,
how do you think the perception has changed over the years? Like I said, like we could talk about Empire Strikes Back, but Empire Strikes Back has always been the #1 movie. Like, it's my favorite. I think it's your favorite as well. Like, it's a lot of people's favorite, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's always been that way. I mean, it came out at a time when it was the second Star Wars movie, and it's been #1 in almost everybody's mind since 1980. So that's
40
really
years at #1.
So nothing's really changed there. So in terms of Revenge of the Sith, like, how do you feel it's kind of changed? Like, I mean, we loved it because we were 8 when it came out.
Of course, yeah. So, I mean, I think we just like everything Star Wars. Yeah, even the Phantom Menace, and the new trilogy, which people have some complaints about, but we love it all. As far as Revenge of the Sith goes and the Clone Wars, I think seeing other things going on during the events, like without giving away too much, during the events of Episode 3, kind of just adds another layer to it. So if you were to go back and watch again, maybe you'd think of things that you never really thought about before because it's new content. You know what I mean? So
there's all these things that people are talking about now with like headcanons and this kind of thing where you can kind of line up the way, because the Siege of Mandalore is basically a movie. I mean,
it is. It's a cartoon movie.
It's a movie. Like if the original Clone Wars movie is a movie, then this is a movie, because that was considered the only reason that was a movie. Like, that was originally supposed to be a Clone Wars arc. That was supposed to be 4 episodes in a Clone Wars arc. So they just were like, George was just like, let's release it in theaters, and that's what they did. So you can't tell me that this isn't a movie, and you can line up the Siege of Mandalore with Revenge of the Sith, and there's so many things. Like, I actually saw today on Instagram or yesterday that there's a really subtle scene in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin is sitting in Padme's apartment looking at like a little like tablet thing.
Yeah.
And someone just comes up with this headcanon, and they're like, imagine this is Anakin looking at like, briefings on Ahsoka, because he knows she's at the siege, and he's just kind of checking in to see how it's going, and like that's why he's so nervous, because he wants to make sure she's okay. And like at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin is very like happy, as opposed to like in Attack of the Clones, he's not very happy. But in Revenge of the Sith, he's starting off happy, and that's because he just saw Ahsoka for the first time in like months. I would say. So
it would be months. Yeah.
So like, there's all these kind of things that you can add now that I think have just really impacted it. And I mean, like, I love so many things in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, and then there's like so many details. Like, I feel like we're just gonna talk about the Clone Wars, but like, so many details where like, Anakin's never met General Grievous. They make a point of that and making it in the Clone Wars. All these things, right? Where and they kind of, the Clone Wars adds to Revenge of the Sith, because now, the biggest problem with Revenge of the Sith was Anakin's turn literally takes place over 10 minutes. Right?
And you
like
see
literally 10 minutes of film time. He's good, and then
Anakin,
he's bad.
And then he's bad.
Yeah. So
Anakin
like
later.
You watch the Clone Wars, and there's all this kind of build up to him, right? You see like a number of arcs where he's kind of fucked up and does some really messed up shit. So it makes sense. What do you feel about the Battle of Heroes fight scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan?
I think you have to.
What's your favorite? Actually, let me rephrase that question. What's your favorite fight scene in Revenge of the Sith, and why is it Battle of Heroes? And then, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, like I was saying, like I don't think you can pick a better like fight scene, although in the Clone Wars there is one that I think you could maybe put up there with maybe the technicality of the fighting that they do in Revenge of the Sith. It's also in that arc of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But Battle of Heroes, like, you got two opposing sides, light and dark, and it's just a classic duel of
Of
two
the
sides
fates,
and
some
duel of
would
the
say.
fates.
Some would
Only,
say.
only some, only some,
Some, yeah.
only people who like episode one.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's us.
yeah, it's just it's a classic tale, and it's Star Wars, so obviously you love it, and
Mm.
lightsabers and magma flying everywhere, and John Williams just tickling your ear in the background. So, uh, like yeah, I don't even think there's a better fight scene in the new trilogy.
Oh,
I
I don't
think I
think
think
there
this
is. There is. I don't think there's a single good lightsaber duel in the sequels.
not one, not a single one.
No, I like the ones in Rise of Skywalker are not good. They're like I can't even like they're so just not memorable. They're not technically. The one in the forest in the Force Awakens, I'll give. And I like the Last Jedi throne room fight as well, but it's
That's
not
what
a
I
light.
was gonna say.
But it's not a lightsaber
It's not
fight. It's not a
no.
lightsaber duel. I love the fight. It's
Mm-mm.
great. I love it.
Uh-huh.
Not a duel.
Yeah.
Period. Sorry. It's
And,
not a
and
duel.
another thing that I love, but like doesn't compare, would be Episode 4, the Obi-Wan and Darth
Classic.
Vader classic. But watching it now, you're kind of like, that's it. Like, like
Yeah.
you're just gonna. But yeah, no, Battle of Heroes just epic, and
Yeah.
celebrating it in 15 years.
Yeah, and I think, and like there's I'm not gonna, I love the flaws in Revenge of the Sith. I love the flaws in Revenge of the Fifth. Like, cause, and I feel like we sit here and we talk about the prequels, Revenge of the Sith. We're like, yeah, I love it. The writing is still bad. There's still things about it that are objectively not good. Also, writing that I love. Quotable as fuck. I love quoting Revenge of the Sith. There's nothing I love more than quoting Revenge of the Sith. I literally streamed myself quoting The Phantom Menace because I was like, damn, I love quoting the prequels. That shit's fun as hell. I streamed 3 hours reading the whole goddamn script. I read every part. I was Watto, for God's sake. I did the whole thing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was insane. So, like, I love quoting the prequels.
Just film the movie with you just being every character,
It would have saved a huge budget. Would have been saved.
Right?
But like,
probably would have done.
I love the dialogue because it's not great, but it's the prequels, and that leads me to thinking like I love prequel memes, man. Like where would we be? Like that's what I think that's my favorite thing. Like I saw a prequel meme that was literally
right.
If the prequels had been better, we wouldn't have prequel memes. Like if they had been amazing, and I'm talking like, and I love them. Gotta stress that I love them. But if they had been just 10 out of 10 movies, all 3 of them, we'd have no memes. And is that
right? Well, there would be memes, but you'd see them and you'd be like, "Why are you making fun of this movie? It's great."
Exactly.
But like, this is a great. They're also great movies too. But like, it's so easy to just pick apart some things. And
you don't see like how many memes do you see for like the original trilogy? None. You don't see a lot of memes.
Next to none.
A few. You see like the one with Han. Just thinking out the one with Han in Return of the Jedi where Leia tells him that they're brother and sister. Luke and her are brother and sister, and then they fucking, what's the word? Oh, and then he realizes that they kiss, and he's like, oh. So like, there's those kind of things like that exist, but like, ultimately not a whole lot of memes, The prequels are meme centric, and I feel like that culture I think that's kind of helped cultivate the love for them, to be honest.
Yeah, and also Jar Jar.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day. It was like,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking.
It's not really a meme, but it was
I know exactly what it is. Go ahead.
If you had a choice, would you rather look like Jar Jar or sound like Jar Jar? Like if you had to pick one.
And you can't kill yourself. You can't choose to kill yourself.
No, that's not an option.
No. You either look like Jar Jar and no, you can't kill yourself. That's
What would you do?
Oh God.
It's hard.
I guess I'd rather talk like him. I think.
Me too.
I think he tones down a little bit, like as he goes on.
Yeah, he matures a little bit.
He matures, exactly. Yeah, he matures. I think being in government helped him mature. Fuck.
Yeah. Even though he, kind of gave all the powers to Emperor Palpatine, he still matured.
It's
still
we don't gotta talk about that. We don't gotta talk about that. It's fine. I just think the last 15 years, Revenge of the Sith has had a really, really crazy. Like, I mean, it's always been kind of perceived as the best prequel. You know, hands down,
yeah.
it's the best one. And I think it's just only gotten better, and I think the entirety of the prequels have only gotten better over time. I think that's been something that's been really nice to see. I mean, we're now 21 years from the start, 21 years later from the start of the prequels, 21. And I think people are now starting to acknowledge, like, you know what, I'm gonna just like these movies.
I kind of think that with the sequel movies coming out, some people watch them and they're like, you know what, like the prequels weren't that bad. I would rather have those. Like some people hate the sequels that much. I don't. I like them all.
But, I think there's the vision. I think people maybe are realizing that they would have rather have George Lucas, because like he's just got something, man. He's just got like the world building is something, man. Like there's just so.
Well, it's his.
It's exactly like Star Wars comes from him. I mean, like, you know, I've said it to you how many times. I mean, man's not a good director. He's a bad director, obviously. He's bad at writing scripts, but like the concepts are there. Like, I mean, fucking, you could go to Wikipedia right now. How many planet names are there? Character names, species, like all that's him, or most of that's him. I mean,
most of it, yeah.
I think, you know, we're not gonna get into the shortcomings of the sequels. It's whatever, they are what they are. And I think
that's for next Tuesday.
I think for next Tuesday, yeah. Over time, the sequels will get more.
For sure.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have the same kind of thing come to them eventually. Is what I think.
I do. I really think like the visuals in the sequels are unreal. Like
definitely 100% agree.
Effects and the way they shoot scenes and things like that, better than all the rest. But you know,
for sure, I agree. I mean, I agree with that. It's you know, the times, the budgets, like everything about what they had was, you know. So I agree with that.
The fact
that
they're Disney owned, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think one last thing I almost forgot to mention it, and I would have kicked myself for not mentioning it. Is arguably the best part of the prequels, which is my man Ewan McGregor on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Can I get some claps in chat for Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ewan McGregor, probably. Ewan McGregor. I think the best Star Wars performance. Period. I mean, I think he had the most difficult job of anybody going into the prequels. I mean, you know, you get someone like Mark Hamill who gets to cultivate his own character, Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, Han Solo, like, you know,
people follow him.
Alec Guinness. I mean, Alec Guinness's performance as Obi-Wan is also incredible, but Ewan McGregor had to come in. He was the only one. He was the only person who had to recreate an incredible performance that Alec Guinness gave in 1977, and did it just so well. Like every single thing, like I'm getting chills talking about it, man. He perfectly encapsulates it. He's my favorite character. And Obi-Wan Kenobi has just become such a great character. Like we're clamoring for more Obi-Wan. Like I'm at a loss for words because I just can't even. We just want more Obi-Wan. Like that's. I mean,
exactly.
He's great.
I don't know how anybody could possibly dislike the guy. I mean, I see if like Anakin, you could be like, oh, he's got a fetish for sand. I don't like him. But
he killed children, man. I don't know.
He killed children. You know, all this shit. He's got a bad resume. Yeah. But Obi-Wan, on the other hand, he's just a straight up dude, and you gotta love him.
Bro, he's the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that you think like, man, I could go to Dexter Jettster's diner and just grab a freaking Java Juice with, man. Like he's the kind of guy that you can just hang out with, you know.
And just shoot the banthas all day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my god, dude, couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. So I mean, you like just want to mention Ewan McGregor because I would be remiss if I didn't. The best performance, had the hardest job, and I hope we are at some point in the near future talking about the show, or maybe a trailer, something like that. Who knows?
Well, it's been confirmed.
Right? It has been confirmed. Yeah.
It has been confirmed. It sucks that we're going through, you know, the pandemic right now, so we'll be delayed.
But oh yeah, definitely.
I think it'll make it that much better when it does finally come out.
for sure. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
worth the wait for sure.
Because they obviously did a very good job with Mandalorian. If it's anything
Oh,
like that, then I
100%.
think people will be happy.
100%.